May I now request Chairman Railway Board, Shri A.K. Mittal, to address the gathering. Sir.
So, good afternoon, friends. And let me first of all apologize to you for coming a little late because we had a very long, and the chairman really board was there, many of my colleagues were sitting here, we were there in the meeting. We had almost 2.5, 3 hours meeting with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, with all his senior officers. And I would say that chairman was telling me that he has never seen a meeting as positive, as good, as progressive as this that we had. And therefore, we are going to develop a huge infrastructure in the state. And therefore, the meeting took place a little longer. Even the general managers are also here. They'll tell you. But so sorry for this. But I think probably it was also coincidental because it provides the backdrop up to how we did a financial closure of a much larger project for Mumbai, 2 elevated corridors from Churchgate to Virar in 2 phases. First will be from Bandra to Virar, second will be from Bandra to Churchgate, second from CST to Panvel, which will have not only the right-of-way, which will be used for railways, but also we'll put also the roads under it. So this will be a very unique project, and this will actually facilitate people from Mumbai Stock Exchange wanting to come and work in BSC every day. They can come from faraway places in a shortest possible time. Of course, I apologize to car owners and the car manufacturer because there will be the demand for cars might go down. If there are any analysts trying to do for automobile manufacturer, they may have to revisit their research. But that will take some time, so don't worry. But this is, we also agreed, then we also decided to work on 9 projects, aggregating to about 20,000 crores, almost 20,000 crores, which will be done through a joint venture company with the state government and central government taking equity. We'll also leverage it. And then SBI Cap is already working out on a business plan. And all of this, by 15th August, we'll close everything. The new company which is formed, already articles of association, memorandum of association has been prepared. Our general manager is given. In addition to this, we are developing the CST station as a completely doomed station. It is French architects have been involved. We'll link it to the below the surface to the Churchgate. So just imagine the advantage of all the stations. First, Churchgate to Virar, Mumbai to the CST to Panvel, and also the connectivity between Western Railway and Central Railway through underground. So this will be linked to metros. This is truly multimodal transport. In addition to this, actually the General Manager of Central Railway is here. I would request him to speak for 5 minutes after this. You come here, sit here. After 5 minutes, he will explain to you how the integrated ticket solution is going to be found, which I had said in my last budget, that we want to have an integrated transport solution. So we'll explain to you in about 5 minutes after this. I have to go for another program. In any case, I said I will speak first because I only speak. The people who do the work are already here. So Chairman Railway Board is here, Finance Commissioner is here, the General Managers are here, those they will speak. So their words will speak louder. I will just tell you the overall contour. So I think he'll also, the General Manager, you make a presentation of 5 minutes about how the integrated ticket solution is going to be found. So this will be metro, trains, shared taxi, all through a seamless, ticketless, the paperless ticket. So this will be a very, this is what we have been saying, and this is now will happen in the next few months. So this is something which, so we had a long discussion. Sorry about that. So friends, firstly, I will just make about 4 or 5 points. First point is, which is well known, the railways could contribute significantly to the GDP of India. Point well known, well taken. But this was taken as an academic point to be made, like we speak in universities that, demand can lead to economic growth, investment can lead to economic growth, but how to make demand, how to create investment, that we don't talk about. So therefore, converting notion into action is something which we really need to do. So we decided to use railway as a means of doing that. And therefore, the last year, our capex is 94,000 crores, which is excluding the commercial decisions that we have taken this year. So ultimately, you should look at how railways has contributed by making capex directly or also through other means, and how is it going to contribute. So just 94,000 was our budget, which we have put. In fact, had the finance ministry not reduced the GBS, it could have been even higher. So in fact, now Informally, we feel that there is a possibility that even this year, we might even get more than what has been said in the budget. But that's one point. So that's one element. The second is the dedicated freight corridor, which is 85,000 crore project, which was not approved by the cabinet till we got it done few months ago. And now we are issued almost all contracts more definitely than what we are issued in last 6-7 years. So this is also a commercial decision which will impact the capex in a significant way. This also will ensure that there will be a spin-off benefit of this investment that is going to happen. Thirdly, this year we also decided on the high-speed railway network between Mumbai and Ahmedabad. That is the Japanese collaboration. In fact, the chairman railway board is going to Japan in the next few days to take the next step forward. We are already registering a company. We are taking the next step to do it. This will be another 98,000 crore project. And this will be financed by a very unique method, which I'm sure all of you will give me a better deal than this. I'll tell you what the deal is. And knowing the great minds here, sitting here, you can give a better deal. And I think Nomura can also advise us because Sonal Verma is one of the analysts, is also here. But one thing is 98,000 crore, we are getting most of it by Japanese government on 50-year tenure, 0.1% interest. First 15 years, you don't have to pay anything. Now, can something like this be done by father-in-law to son-in-law? I don't know if anybody can do like this. So this deal has been made, of which most of it will be made in India. There will be a huge spin-off benefit because this is made in India. Automatically, the technology transfer, that's not just for running the train, but so many components that go into making that train work will also be made in India eventually. So the ecosystem gets developed. So that's another very important decision, commercial decision that we took this year, which will of course accrue, the capex, etc. will happen over a period of time. But definitely we'll want to start this project in 7 years' time. The first bullet train should start running in India. Then we decided, offered contracts worth 40,000 crores to GE and Alstom. This was again very long drawn project. This again is going to create a huge demand. In fact, this is definitely the largest order the railways have placed, probably the largest order those companies have received. And all of that again will be made in India. With state-of-art technology, with the type of diesel and electric locomotives, the speed of train will improve, the emissions will go down, the ability, because the speed increases, automatically the turnaround time will be less, and many benefits will accrue. So like that, we have taken a number of decisions. We already issued the first station development work this year in Habibganj in Bhopal, already issued. Another 5-6 are very advanced stage, and therefore, even in Mumbai, the general manager, I think I would request you to also tell him about it, is that the pre-bid conference for more or less all the stations in Maharashtra, which we want to develop, he had called all the major developers in Maharashtra. We had a meeting with them, because this is something people must understand, that we are not creating a Taj Mahal in railway station development. What we are doing is, the land that is available will be used, the land and air rights will go vertical and develop the station. But if you can create a Taj Mahal out of that, ultimately everybody will go and watch it, but only thing that will not happen there, the train will not be able to run. And therefore we have to also run train there. So it's not just a property development that people think it's so easy to do. So this is something which we have to done by ensuring that normal operations also run there. So that we have to normalize the design based on our railways operational requirement. So for that, it's a very complex exercise. Nobody in the world has developed as many stations at the same time, trying to use, and also as congested as Mumbai and India. So therefore, that pre-bid also is over. In many zones also it has been over. So we are aware of it. So this again will happen. It will take some time. But our initial process has been completed. Now, in addition to this, we are trying to do 2 or 3 things more. We have got about 14 countries with whom we have got already decided agreement. I was in France and Germany recently. I was also in Korea and Japan earlier to that. All those countries want to develop with us. So some station development can happen through G to G. While that will happen, like Korea is very keen, China is very keen, Japan is keen, France is interested, Germany, already Ludhiana and Ambala. They are the 2 stations which French are trying to develop. So we are trying to do another means, that is G to G. So that again is going to bring in a lot of capex into the market. So these are all the commercial decisions which have been taken. I'm not just mentioning all, which is in addition to these 94,000 crores of capex that we are talking about. So you can imagine this 1 year, which was the most difficult year in the history of railways. The most difficult year. All of you are tracking and you are telling that cement, steel, iron ore, major natural resource movement was one of the lowest in this year. This is the mainstay of India's railways income source. 2/3 of income of the railways come from freight, and most of it come from the basket of these commodities, of which the demand was less. Therefore, it was completely external to railways that we could do it. And I'm therefore very proud of all my colleagues in the railways that despite this, we pulled off one better performance than what anybody could have anticipated. We saved 10,000 crores of expenditure to more or less neutralize the decrease in our revenue. And therefore, we could, and also we have provided in this budget the increased liability on account of pay commission. There was a bonus act which was amended, which meant that railway being the largest employer will be carrying the largest burden. And that also has been provided. And despite this, we could actually have been able to provide it. We have now decided to change our policies as far as freight is concerned. We want to bring in more non-railway revenues, which normally should be about 25 to 30% of the revenue. If you go by some of the best railways in the world, where in India, it is hardly anything. So therefore, we want to diversify that. But again, that's not going to happen in a hurry. You cannot bring such structural changes in a matter of 1 quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter. This will take time. But we have taken that process. So to diversify our freight, we have also taken measures. To get non-rail revenue, we have also taken measures. Some of this will bear fruit over a period of time. But this year, we already, as I said, optimization of cost. We virtually went in, and the finance commissioner will tell you, almost like a zero budgeting. We gave a target to each and every zone, each and every division, each and every department, that you must cut down the cost going through the why we should incur that cost to begin with. As a result of which we could achieve this. But we are also diversifying the freight basket to bring in more revenues coming from other commodities which we are not presently targeting. We are also changing our policies to make it more market-oriented. We had a port congestion charge. When there is no congestion, there was a port congestion charge. So I was jocularly telling somebody, when they came and told me that why there is a port congestion charge, so I said, we'll change the name, we'll change the nomenclature and called it port non-congestion charge, so that you can still pay it. But the point is, how can the people keep bearing burden like this? So it probably is one of the first budget in several decades wherein the freight is touched not to increase it, but to decrease it. So therefore, by doing that again, we are hoping that we'll get additional share. We already had an extensive dialogue with representatives of major industries who actually are the customers of railways, whether it's steel, cement, absolutely extensive. We have found out what can be done. For example, there was a restriction that imported items can be loaded only in one port, but not in other. So there was an internal additional charge that the people had to bear. We are also rationalizing it. We have done that, and in the next few weeks itself, many of these policies will be put in place. The Chairman Railway Board will explain to you the new mission that we have launched. I think I'll leave it to you to explain how we are going to launch those new missions. Each of these missions are directed towards bringing in synergy of railway operation. One of the challenge of railway is that railway has specialized services. Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, traffic, finance, and many others. So all these services, if they don't work as a team, then each one of them might have done a great job. But end result may not be as optimum as it could have been had there had been of such a synergy. So we have started working on that. And to create that, we are also looking at certain reorganization of the structure itself. And that exercise is already on. But also in the present circumstances, we are trying to create that synergy by creating multimodal task forces for mobility, for others, and the Chairman will explain that to you. So we are trying to work on few things. One, as I said, this year, difficult, but still we could manage. Next year, we are trying to bring in all the changes that we have talked about and try to bring that in. In that, also, as I said, some of the key elements where we can save the money is energy. Electricity is one of the principal traction use cost of the railways, after, of course, salaries. So there we are again reduced substantially. We use the open access, which was there in Electricity Act 2003, which was never used. So we reduce the cost. We are going for energy conservation. We are changing the LED, so we will reduce the cost of energy for the building. In addition to all this, we already made an open bid and we got a cost reduced substantially. Because we did that, others who are saying all the time that we'll increase it, came forward and voluntarily said, why don't you take electricity from us, we'll do it at a reduced cost. Because they realize that we are now going for the market-based instrument. Diesel, also we are going to work on it. We already started a strategy. Member Mechanical is working on it. We had extensive discussion with the Ministry of Oil and Natural Gas, and we are having got to work on it. So we are doing on both income side augmentation, rail operation, non-rail operations, expenditure on both sides, also making sure that the productivity improves. We had appointed Deloitte for the human resource audit. That report is also there, and so therefore the first time probably a government organization is trying to work on something like this. So we are actually going to make maximum utilization of it. We are bringing in complete transparency of operation. That's one other important thing. Most of the tenders this year, again we saved some money. Next year we'll save even substantially, including you'll be surprised. The most difficult thing to put on website is for material, etc. It's easy because that can be e-tendering. Worst contract are more difficult. So we started putting that, and including now the final decision, the minutes of the final negotiation that takes place will be also available on the work contract negotiation will be available on finally website. So you can imagine that will bring in the complete transparency so anybody can doubt. If suppose competitor says that what is agreed with him is not beneficial to me, you can challenge it. So I think this again, we are trying to put it transparency. In fact, currently, the TCS is conducting the world's largest online examination. World's largest. And of course, there could be complaints here and there. Sometimes too much transparency also can lead to complaints. Because people might feel, "Arey, this was easier earlier. I knew him, but now I know him, but still nothing can happen. So there must be something wrong." So therefore, that issues can be raised. But this is something which we are trying to introduce of all levels. In fact, the chairman Railway Board will tell you that even to the extent of transfers and promotion, we are trying to bring in as much rationality as possible. I'm not saying 100%, but as much as possible. Greatly improved than what it was in the previous. But of course, we have to go a long way more. And there are, of course, so many different pressures. But we are trying to do that. So transparency is going to be the hallmark of working like this. In fact, I'll just tell you one thing. When this GE and Alstom deal was finalized, you'll be surprised to know, and chairman will actually vouch for it, I did not know who has won the contract till the end. So somebody called me and said, "Thank you very much." I said, "For what?" He said, "I got a contract." I said, "Oh, I didn't know, but you got a contract." But the company which lost out, one of the top Fortune 500 company, they went and told everybody that we are happy that we lost out, not because we didn't get a contract, but the process was so transparent that we have no reason to complain. So this is how we want to bring in a complete transparency into the operation, and that will also save over a period of time and expenditure, improve productivity, bring in some set of new ideas, etc. We're also working on a mission for R&D. I think again, our chairman will tell you about how that R&D mission is going to work, the Shrestha, which we are going to work. Also, some of the missions he'll tell you about it. The idea I'm telling is that we need to use railway as a means of bringing change in economy, in social life, and many others. So one is this part, with capital expenditure, etc. But we cannot forget that while we do all this, why are we doing this? It has to be ultimately benefiting the people who travel by railways. So that was the focus. We improved the customer service in many ways. One of the things that we did was bring first change, and there's a CMD IRCTC is sitting here, he will tell you that the complaint that were coming on reservation, we try to bring down. Of course, there will be always possibility that somebody will try to hoodwink the system. Catering. We have started e-catering. Now in more or less major stations, you can have a e-catering. And therefore the e-catering order has also gone up. So you can order the food of your choice. If Ashish Chavan offers a good cup of tea and he's registered as a vendor on IRCTC website, then BSC can supply tea of the choice that people want. So that we don't have to do it. Of course, you are not in that business. Your articles of association may not allow you. Object clause may not allow you. But I'm just saying, anything that you want, of food of your choice can be ordered. In addition to that, we are starting base kitchen. So that the base kitchen will ensure that quality of food that is cooked will be available. At source only, it will be properly taken care of. We have started laundries, mechanized laundries. And in fact, all this what I'm telling you has been achieved and numbers are available. So this is not something which I'm telling you that these are the ideas and something will happen. Because earlier idea was the railway budget used to have a lot of announcement. In fact, railway budget never lacked any content because of lack of announcement. Announcements were quite a lot. But the belief was that announcement of a project is an project itself. So if somebody asks you, what is your project? He said, my project is I announced. So what happened after that? He said, but that was a project. Announcement itself was a project. So it has been fulfilled because the project has been announced. Now how can I do the same thing again next year? So next year I'll announce more projects. So that's why this is how it was going on. So we never lacked in terms of announcement. What we did first time in railway, we gave an account of what has happened to the previous year's announcement. 139 such announcement, action taken report has been submitted along with the budget speech to the parliament. So this is something which we want to do to make sure that railways announcement and its delivery is also known to the people. But customer service is one focus in which we are doing quite a few things, including increasing speed. So we already started Gatiman Express. As I said, high-speed railway network is going to happen. In addition to that, hopefully on an experimental basis, we'll start very soon a Spanish train called Talgo, which will come and start maybe the distance, the traveling time between Mumbai and Delhi could be reduced by about 5 to 6 hours at least. Looks like. That's what they're claiming. Let us see now. But this will happen. And if that happens, it's a train set. So train set manufacturing is also another contract which is now considered by the railways. But that's just independent of this. So a lot of activities which we are trying to do will result into customer service improvement also. And one of the things that we realize is how to address the people's complaints. Because that is something very difficult to address. And because there are 27 lakh people travel by railway every day, 7 billion people. So I was telling that day somebody, 7 billion people travel means at least 35 billion complaints. Because everybody says, how can I make only one complaint? That is not enough. So I must make at least 4 or 5 complaints and good suggestions, another 10 suggestions per person. Because suggestions are quite a few. They keep coming all the time. So we said what we'll do is address these complaints on ongoing basis, on a real-time basis. So we are using Twitter, email, letters, whatever is the form of complaint, telephone calls, they are tracked and acted upon immediately. So there is a separate mechanism we have created, and therefore we try to address by complaint. By doing that, it has also helped us to look at some of the structural issues. If a complaint is coming from one particular source, maybe a geography, or a particular function or particular department, we are able to understand why those complaints are coming only from that particular source. So we need to take some corrective action in terms of changing the structure itself. That again has helped us significantly in terms of addressing and improving customer service in the process. We are already working on using technology in a big way. Again, the chairman of the Railway Board will tell you more about it. And I think many of these things hopefully will result into, in the next 3-4 years' time, railway becoming a far efficient organization, far cost-effective organization, and far more outreaching organization. So we are already working with the states. This again will be helpful to us because states can contribute significantly. When we are doing station development, the chief ministers are willing to say that for this station, because we know exactly why you are developing it, the FSI can be increased 3 times. Just by doing that, the value of property goes up exponentially. And that value can be captured by the joint venture that we are signing with the state. So the joint venture will also get a stream of revenue. In any case, we would not have got that money. If the state government had said only whatever is applicable now, we keep it at that level and not increase it by 3 times, that 3 times additional value would never have been realized. But we are getting it now, means that can be monetized and can be put into the system. So we are doing that. We are also trying to monetize most of the company's assets. So we are creating a holding company. The holdco will hold up shares of subordinate companies. And there are some very valuable companies in the fold of railways which value has not been realized fully. So we want to work on that also this year. And many of these things will happen as we go along. But the idea is that whatever we have got is a strategy. Strategy is implemented 1 year. The second implementation also has started. In fact, on 25th of February, I presented a budget. 26th of February, the chairman of the Railway Board with all his colleagues decided what action has to be taken. So each of the points that I told you is already made into an actionable point, and these actionable points are monitored on a weekly basis by chairman. I also monitored some of them. But I am telling you that this is something which is a teamwork. Yesterday I was addressing the civil services day. So I was the chief guest there. So I was telling them that what is the civil services to do. So very easy to say that civil services are the worst in the year. That is something very easy to conclusion to be drawn. Then how do you make India better? Can India be run by non-civil service? That means nobody can run the India. We need people. So if somebody joins the government, he becomes bad. As long as you are not in the government, you are good. That's a presumption. So if we are in the government, the challenge is how to improve the performance of the government machinery itself. Whoever is in the government, now he is in the government, how do you improve his performance? And to do that, we need a teamwork. And the good example is the railway itself. This year, despite the big challenges, we could do all this because at the board level, at the level of the zones, at the level of the division, everybody really responded, and therefore we could do this. I am not saying this is our optimum level of efficiency. We can do even better, which I am definitely sure. But this first year was very important because everybody was saying to begin with that railway will not be able to do this. But now the same railways have done it. What does it mean? That means the inherent capability of an organization has to be realized and utilized in a proper manner by bringing teamwork. So teamwork is very critical. This is what we are trying to put in place. We had a railway week last week in Bhubaneswar, wherein we discussed this, and we already said that all the railway zones now will also monitor it on a weekly basis. They will also reward the good performance on a weekly basis. Some could be some good at operational level. The people who are doing good job, they could be recognized as an employee of the week. So the idea is the motivated organization can deliver. The teamwork has the ability to produce more than what they are done in the past. And that is what we are trying to work on. I am very sure in the next few years' time we'll be able to do better. I can see many stalwarts, some of whom I worked as my good friends and colleagues, including Vallabh Bansal and many others I can see. They can tell you better thing than me. But one thing I have probably learned from friends like is that you should talk to investors when you don't need the money. So today we don't need the money. So that's why we are talking to you. So that you can actually not, as I said last year also, that not necessarily money, which of course if you list, you can give us. So, but we need unlisted support. So not just enlisting support, not listing support. So we are enlisting your support and trying to get it that, you can give us ideas, how can we do it better. So we look forward to all of that. The chairman Railway Board will tell you more. I have to go and give awards at the Bombay Management Association. So I have to go for that function. I will request also to our general manager to speak about 5 minutes and tell about these 2-3 ideas, and then also about how the CST, the integration is going to work, also the seamless ticketing, how is it going to work, because that will really be very interesting idea, probably first time we are trying to put into reality, how it is going to happen. And that too, a lot of work has been done. In fact, there is already a model available, so he will tell you about that, and then Chairman Railway Board will also address and tell you about it. So thank you very much. I know it's a good omen, because we came last year and talked to you. So normally the corporates come and talk to you. So it is unusual that a government department comes and talks to the investor. But it was a good omen because we came here and did it. That's why we could do a better performance. So I hope that because we have again come here in such large number, it gives us support to make sure that we can do a much better job this year than what we could do last year. Thank you very much.